And having seen the multitudes, he went up into the mountain. And when he had seated himself, his pupils came to him. And having opened his mouth, he went to teaching them, saying, Spiritually prosperous are the destitute and helpless in the realm of the Spirit, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Spiritually prosperous are those who are mourning, because they themselves shall be encouraged and strengthened by consolation. Spiritually prosperous are those who are meek, because they themselves shall inherit the earth. Spiritually prosperous are those hungering and thirsting for righteousness, because they themselves shall be filled so as to be completely satisfied. Spiritually prosperous are those who are merciful, because they themselves shall be the objects of mercy. Spiritually prosperous are those who are pure in the sphere of the heart, because they themselves shall see God. Spiritually prosperous are those who make peace, because they themselves shall be called sons of God. Spiritually prosperous are those who have been persecuted on account of righteousness, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Spiritually prosperous are you whenever they shall revile you and persecute you, and say every pernicious thing against you, speaking deliberate falsehoods on account of me. Be rejoicing and exult exceedingly, because your reward is great in heaven. For in this manner they persecuted the prophets who were before you. As for you, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its pungency, by what means can its saltness be restored? For not even one thing is it of any use any longer, except having been thrown out to be trampled underfoot by men. As for you, you are the light of the world. A city is not able to be hidden, situated on top of a mountain. Neither do they light a lamp and place it under the bushel, but upon the lampstand, and it gives light to all those who are in the house. In the same manner, let your light shine before men, in order that they may see your good works, and in order that they may glorify your Father who is in heaven. Do not begin to suppose that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For assuredly I am saying to you, until the heaven and the earth pass away, not one smallest letter nor smallest letter marking shall pass away from the law, until all comes to pass. Whoever therefore shall deprive of authority one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever shall do and teach them, this man shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I am saying to you, unless your righteousness excels that of the men learned in the sacred scriptures and that of the Pharisees, not in any case will you enter the kingdom of heaven. You heard that it was said by those of a previous time, you shall not commit murder, and whoever commits murder shall be subject to the judgment. But as for myself, I am saying to you that everyone who is provoked to anger against his brother shall be subject to the judgment. Moreover, whoever says to his brother, Raka, that is, you senseless empty head, shall be liable to the Sanhedrin. But whoever shall say, More, that is, you imprudent man without forethought or wisdom, shall be liable to the hell of fire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar of whole burnt offerings, and there you remember that your brother has something against you, leave there your gift before the altar of whole burnt offerings, and be going away. First be reconciled to your brother, and then, having come, be offering your gift. Be friendly and well disposed toward your opponent in a suit at law, quickly, while you are with him in the road, lest at any time the opponent deliver you over to the judge, and the judge to the officer, and into prison you are thrown. Assuredly, I am saying to you, you will not in any case come out from there until you have paid off the last farthing. You heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But as for myself, I am saying to you, everyone who is looking at a woman in order to indulge his sexual passion for her already committed adultery with her in his heart. So then, if your eye, the right one, causes you to stumble, root it out and throw it from you. For it is to your profit that one of your members perish, and not that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it out and throw it from you. For it is to your profit that one of your members perish, and that not your whole body go off into hell. Moreover, it was said, whoever dismisses his wife, let him give her a bill of divorce. But as for myself, I am saying to you, everyone who dismisses his wife, except in a case of unchastity, causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries her, who has been dismissed, commits adultery. Again, you heard that it was said by those of a previous time, you shall not perjure yourself, but you shall discharge your oaths with reference to the Lord. But I say to you, do not put yourself under oath at all, neither by heaven, because it is the throne of God, nor by the earth, because it is the footstool of his feet, neither by Jerusalem, because it is the city of the great King. Neither put yourself under oath by your head, because you are not able to make one hair white or black, but let your word be yes, yes, no, no. And that which is more than these things is of the evil, which is in active opposition to the good. You heard that it was said, an eye in substitution for an eye, a tooth in substitution for a tooth. But as for myself, I am saying to you, do not set yourself against the evil which is in active opposition to the good. But whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him also the other. And to the one who desires to summon you to be put on trial, and have judgment passed upon you for the purpose of taking away your undergarment, yield up your outer garment also. And whoever commandeers your service as a courier for a mile, be going off with him 2 miles. To the one asking you for something, give. And from the one who desires to borrow money from you at interest, do not turn away. You heard that it was said, you shall love your friend and hate the one who is hostile to you, hates you, and opposes you. But as for myself, I am saying to you, be loving with a divine, self-sacrificial love those who are hostile to you and hate and oppose you, and be praying for those who are persecuting you, in order that you may become sons of your Father in heaven, because his sun he causes to shine on those who are actively opposed to that which is good, and upon those who are good, and causes it to rain on those who are fair and equitable in their dealings with others, and on those who are not. For if you are loving those who are loving you, what reward are you having? Are not even the collectors of taxes doing the same? And if you greet with deference and respect your brethren only, what more are you doing? Are not even the pagan Gentiles doing the same? Therefore, as for you, you shall be those who are complete in your character, even as your Father in heaven is complete in his being. Moreover, be holding your mind on the matter of not practicing your correctness of thinking, feeling, and acting before men in order to be attentively viewed by them as a spectacular performer. Otherwise, a reward you do not have in the presence of your Father in heaven. Therefore, whenever you are practicing the virtues of mercy or beneficence, do not sound a trumpet before you as the actors on the stage of life do in the synagogues and in the streets, in order that they may be held in honor by men. Assuredly, I am saying to you, they have their reward and the receipt for the same in full. But while you are practicing the virtues of mercy or beneficence, do not allow your left hand to know what your right hand is doing, in order that your mercy or beneficence may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you are praying, you shall not be as the actors on the stage of life, because they are fond of praying in the synagogues and while standing at the corners of avenues, in order that they may be seen by men. Assuredly, I am saying to you, they have their reward and the receipt for the same in full. But as for you, whenever you are praying, enter into your secret and well-guarded place, and having closed the door, pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Moreover, when praying, do not repeat the same thing over and over as the pagans do, for they think that they will be heard because of their multiplicity of words. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows the things you have need before you ask him for them. Therefore, as for you, in this manner be praying. Our Father who is in heaven, let your name be venerated. Let your kingdom come. Let your will be done, as in heaven, so on earth. Our bread, that for the coming day, give us today, and forgive us the moral obligations we owe, even as also, as for us, we have forgiven those morally obligated to us. And do not lead us into the place of testing where a solicitation to do evil would tempt us to sin, but deliver us from the pernicious one. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Moreover, whenever you are fasting, stop being like the actors on the stage of life, of a sad and gloomy countenance, for they mask their faces in order that they may appear to men as those who are fasting. Assuredly, I am saying to you, they have their reward and the receipt for the same in full. But as for you, when fasting, massage your head with olive oil and wash your face, in order that you may not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who observes in the sphere of the secret. And your Father who observes in the sphere of the secret will reward you. Stop accumulating treasures upon the earth for yourselves, where the clothes moth and corrosion destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But be accumulating treasures in heaven, where neither a clothes moth nor corrosion destroys, and where thieves do not break in nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will also be your heart. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be in single focus, pure, sound, your whole body will be well lighted. But if your eye be diseased, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light which is in you is darkness, the darkness, how great! No one is able to be habitually serving two masters, for either he will hate the one, and the other one of a different kind he will love, or one he will hold to firmly as against the other, and the other one of a different kind he will disdain. You are not able to be rendering a slave's obedience to God and to a passion for accumulating wealth. On this account I am saying to you, stop worrying about your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, and about your body, with what you will clothe yourself. Is not the life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Consider the birds of the heaven. They are not sowing seed, nor reaping, nor even are they collecting into granaries, and yet your heavenly Father is feeding them. As for you, do not surpass them? Moreover, who is there of you by worrying is able to put to his stature 18 inches? And concerning clothing, why are you worrying? Consider well the lilies of the field, and learn thoroughly in what way they grow. They are not laboring to the point of exhaustion, nor even are they spinning. But I am saying to you, not even Solomon in all of his glory clothed himself as one of these. And in view of the fact that the herbage of the field, which is in existence today and tomorrow is thrown into a furnace, God thus clothes, he will not the sooner clothe you, you of little faith? Therefore stop worrying, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or with what shall we clothe ourselves? For all these things the pagan Gentiles are diligently seeking. For your heavenly Father knows that you are in constant need of all these things. But be seeking first the kingdom and his righteousness, and these things all of them shall be added to you. Therefore, do not begin to worry about tomorrow, for the next day will take care of its own interests. Sufficient to the day is its trouble. Stop pronouncing censorious criticism, in order that you may not be the object of censorious criticism. For with that judgment by which you are judging, you will be judged. And with that standard of judgment with which you are judging, by that standard will judgment be passed on you. And why do you contemplate the splinter of wood in the eye of your brother, and do not put your mind upon the log in your own eye? Or, how is it that you will say to your brother, permit me to draw out the splinter from your eye, and behold, the log is in your eye? O actor on the stage of life, draw out first from your eye the log, and then you will see clearly to draw out the splinter from the eye of your brother. Do not give that which is holy to the dogs, neither throw your pearls before the hogs, lest perchance they trample them under their feet, and having turned, lacerate you. Keep on asking for something to be given, and it shall be given you. Keep on seeking, and you shall find. Keep on reverently knocking, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone who keeps on asking for something to be given keeps on receiving, and he who keeps on seeking keeps on finding, and to him who keeps on reverently knocking, it shall be opened. Or, who is there of you, a man, who, should his son ask for a loaf of bread, he will not give him a stone, will he? Or should he also ask for a fish, he will not give him a snake, will he? Therefore, as for you, in view of the fact that though, being those who are evil, actively opposed to that which is good, you know how to be constantly giving good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him for them? Therefore, all things whatever you may be desiring men to be doing to you, in the same manner also, as for you, you be doing to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, because broad is the gate and spacious is the road, that one that leads away to ruin and everlasting misery. And many there are who are constantly entering through it, because narrow is the gate and compressed is the road, the one which leads away into the life, and few there are who are finding it. Constantly be guarding yourself against the false prophets, men who are of such a character as to be coming to you with sheep-like outward expressions, but in their inner being they are rapacious wolves. By their fruits you will clearly recognize them. They do not gather up grapes from bramble bushes or figs from a prickly wild plant, the thistle, do they? In the same manner, every intrinsically good tree produces beautiful fruits, but a rotten tree produces fruits which are rotten to the core. An intrinsically good tree is not able to produce rotten fruits, neither is a rotten tree able to produce beautiful fruit. Every tree which is not producing beautiful fruit is customarily cut out and is thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits, you will clearly recognize them. Not everyone who keeps on saying to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he who keeps on doing that which is my Father, who is in heaven, has determined shall be done. Many shall say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, did we not in your name prophesy, and in your name cast out demons, and in your name perform many miracles which demonstrated the power of God? And then I will declare in a public announcement to them, I never came to know you experientially. Be going away from me, you who are working the lawlessness. Therefore, everyone who is of such a character as to be habitually hearing these words of mine and habitually doing them, shall be likened to an intelligent man who is of such a nature that he built his house upon the rocky cliff. And the violent rainstorm came down, and the torrents came, and the winds blew and rushed upon and beat against the house, and it did not fall, for it had been built upon the rocky cliff as its foundation, and was firmly established upon it. And everyone who is hearing these words of mine and is not habitually doing them shall be likened to an imprudent man without forethought or wisdom, who was of such a character that he built his house upon the sandy ground. And the violent rainstorm came down, and the torrents came, and the winds blew and rushed upon and beat against that house, and it fell, and its downfall was great. And it came to pass that when Jesus brought these words to a close, the crowds were struck with astonishment to the point of the loss of self-control by his teaching, for he was teaching them in the manner of one who possesses authority, and not in the manner of their men learned in the sacred writings. And having come down from the mountain, great crowds followed with him. And behold, a leper having come, fell upon his knees and touched the ground with his forehead in an expression of profound reverence before him, saying, Master, in the event that you may be having a heartfelt desire, you are able to cleanse me. And having stretched out his hand, he touched him, saying, I am desiring it from all my heart. Be cleansed at once. And immediately his leprosy was cured by being cleansed away. And Jesus says to him, See to it. Do not tell even one person, but be going away. Show yourself at once as evidence to the priest, and offer the gift which Moses enjoined as a testimony to them. And having entered Capernaum, there came to him the commander of 100 soldiers, pleading with him and saying, Sir, my servant is bedridden at my home, a paralytic, being constantly tormented terribly. He says to him, I, having come, will heal him. But the commander of 100 soldiers said, Sir, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, yet having under myself soldiers, and I say to this one, Be proceeding, and he proceeds, and to another, Be coming, and he comes, and to my slave, Do this at once, and he does it. Now, Jesus, having heard, marveled, and said to those who were following with him, Assuredly, I am saying to you, in the case of not even one person did I find such great faith in Israel. Moreover, I am saying to you, many from the east and from the west shall come and recline at the banqueting table with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom shall be thrown into the darkness, and the darkness which is outside of the king's banqueting house. There, in that place, there shall be the audible weeping and lamentation and the gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said to the commander of 100 soldiers, Be going on your way. In the manner in which you believed, let it be come to you. And the servant was healed in that hour. And having come into Peter's home, Jesus saw Peter's mother-in-law bedridden and burning with a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she arose and went to serving him a meal. Now, evening having come, they brought to him many who were possessed with demons. And he ejected the spirits by a word. And all those who were ill were healed, in order that there might be fulfilled that which was spoken through Isaiah the prophet, saying, He himself took away our infirmities and carried off our diseases. Now, Jesus, having seen a crowd around him, gave orders to go off to the other side. And having approached, one of those men learned in the sacred scriptures said to him, Teacher, I will follow with you as a disciple wherever you may be departing. And Jesus says to him, The foxes always have burrows, and the birds of heaven always have roosting places, but the Son of Man does not have where to recline his head. And another of his pupils said to him, Master, permit me first to go off and bury my father.